This is Sgraffito Art with Mrs. Orendorf. Buongiorno. Ciao bella. Hello friends. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you about a lesson I learned in Veneto, Italy many years ago through a teacher grant. Another art teacher and I were very fortunate to be granted the opportunity to go study in Italy and Paris for a month. This lesson was taught to us by a artist, and she also does restoration, Alma Ortolan, in Veneto, Italy, and she does restorations for the Vatican, etc. So we were very, very fortunate, very lucky. And now I feel like it's our turn to share this back with the community, with the art community. This lesson is an adaptation, so a modification for an art lesson for students of younger ages to experience the process of sgraffito. Sgraffito is scratch art, but you can do it in different styles with different materials. The way we learned was by making a sgraffito tile in the style of the old masters. This is a terracotta Italian tile, and it's covered with a layer of black mortar and then a layer of lime. Okay, these are all strong materials, not recommended for children, but for adults, of course, go for it if you feel that you can handle that. Our adaptation is to make an illuminated letter such as this, and our students have been very successful, and they transfer it onto a glazed tile. Now, some art companies have little lessons out there on the web called glaze on glaze tile. So the proper terminology for this type of technique is called sgraffito. For this project, you are going to need one tile, and you can have it glazed or unglazed. We prefer, we have found that the easiest way is to have a glazed tile, just a white or off-white glazed kitchen or bathroom tile. They are very inexpensive at your hardware stores. You will need a piece of paper for your drawing, the size of your tile. In our case, it's going to be 6 by 6 inches. Your pencil. We use a graphite stick to cover the back to transfer the image onto the tile. And then you are going to use a scratching tool. You can order some scratching tools with a rubber grip. These are a little bit pricey, but it's an investment and you have them for years and years to come. You can also use them on metal repoussé. That's another lesson I can't wait to share with you later. If you don't have scratch tools, you can use a scratch tool that looks like a skewer. You can even buy a skewer and just cut them shorter so that your students have an easier grip on them. All right, let's get started. First, you will need to glaze your tile. We have a 6 by 6 tile here and some low fire glaze. Begin this lesson with your paper and your pencil and draw the letter or image that you would like on your tile. On this particular tile, I did the letter O. My initials are VO, Mrs. Orendorf. So just to review how I started, I'm going to make the letter O first. Then I'm going to decide, well, what do I want inside of my letter O? In this case, I did a little bird, and that was inspired by this illuminated letter. It's a bee with little birds with some swirls, simple, simple. You don't have to copy it. You can make your own version. So I made a little bird, and it's an artist bird because I love to do art. I started with the head, the little beak, eyeball. I did a little crest, and my students told me, well, it needs a French beret if it's going to be a little artist bird. Sure. So you can use your imagination and add lots of little details. This little wing could maybe pop into overlapping the letter O, and it could be holding with its other wing. my painter's palette. Okay, there's part of the wing there. So get creative. It doesn't have to look like an antique illuminated letter. It can be your own version of an illuminated letter. All right, so then the body would go, pretend it's coming over here. This could be part of the tail right here. And the body doesn't have to be this big. It could end right about there. And then you could do some fancy swirls if you would like. Or designs. There's all kinds of beautiful designs you can do. And I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to make a time lapse so that you can see me kind of draw. And then you're gonna see me trace with Sharpie. You want to trace with a regular size Sharpie. And if you have small areas, you can trace those with an ultra-fine Sharpie or a thinner marker. I would not go any thinner than this because your scratch tools are not very, very thin. This is an example of me scratching some words, and that's the thinnest it gets. But of course, guys, it takes a lot of hand-eye coordination and a very steady hand. So for the younger artists, I would suggest the thickness of a regular Sharpie or the thinner Sharpie. No thinner than that, okay? When you are ready, you are going to cover the back of your paper with graphite or regular pencil, the lead from a pencil. This is what's inside of a pencil. And what I did is I rubbed, and that's how you create your own transfer, sort of like carbon paper, okay? And if you don't have one of these, you can use a regular pencil. Basically, you are just going to cover the entire back with the graphite from your pencil, right? When you're ready, you are going to put your drawing on top with a piece of tape so that you can lift it and see if you missed anything. So in this case, I would trace over my drawing with my pencil. You have to press a little bit hard, okay? Let's see, I have not transferred the bird. So I am tracing with my pencil, the beak, my little painter's palette, and then whatever little decorations you want around it. See if you got everything. You lift. Oh, I missed the little painter, and I missed the little chest. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm ready to scratch. I suggest scratching lightly in layers over the same line. If you hear your tiles screeching, you are scratching too hard. Take your time, dust off your extra dust. Here's an example of a student working, and have fun. When you finish, place your tile in a kiln. It will have to be fired according to the temperature of the glaze that you used. I hope you enjoyed our lesson. This is Ms. Fortamaris and my example. Goodbye.